this is a huge opportunity right now. I already know some agents who are leaning into this, but truthfully, it's not easy. I'm going to get into why that is, but I'm going to share with you exactly how to do it and how you can apply it. So, future real estate marketing's here, getting found on AI compared to search engine optimization, but now we're calling it GEO, right, or AEO, depending on who you talk to, which have different meetings. But the goal is let's get found through AI. A little bit about me. Who am I? I'm Jared Larkin. I'm a sales rep with Chicago Title, and I've been with Chicago Title now for almost 9 years. And I love teaching classes, hosting events, and bringing the real estate community together and providing value, whether it's educational classes like this. I teach anything from how to get found on AI like today, or yesterday I taught a class on 4 creative ways to get more exposure to your listings that might be sitting on the real estate market, to let's enhance your exposure and brand through a variety of different marketing tactics. So I always say I'm a marketing consultant, but it just so happens that I sell title insurance, and that is my vehicle of creating relationships and doing all that. But beyond that, for what it's worth, Chicago Title, we are the oldest, largest title company in North America, and we would love to work with you. So if you do find value in this and you're open to, sending us a deal on your next transaction, I'd love to chat with you. And beyond that, I believe we got to provide value to you beyond just closing your transactions, and that's why I'm here today. And like Diane kind of joked around, the world is moving fast, especially with AI. And I really pride myself on constantly staying up to date on what's going on out there and implementing whatever that is, whether it's AI focused into my business and learning it and utilizing it and figuring out what works and what doesn't. That way, I practice what I preach and I can share it with you all like I am today. So that's the game plan. Let's go. Boom, Chicago Title. There we go. That's us. Moving on. We want to work with you. We want to close our deals. We have to do a good job. So, focus today. One is the AI search revolution, just understanding AI versus how you get found on traditional SEO. Next up, number 2 is I'm going to be sharing some AI recommendation mechanics where we're going to learn how exactly ChatGPT and other aspects of, say, Google and AI really decide who gets recommended and who gets picked. Then we'll lead into optimizing your profile, because that's, even if you walk away from this class today and you say, oh, that was a lot. Step 3 is going to be for you just as baby steps on where to start, where we can just focus on optimizing your profile. I'll be giving away and sharing some different prompts today that I'll be talking about in a little bit later that you can all utilize immediately and apply in your business as well. 4, we're going to share some real car examples. And then 5, we're going to take action. So that's the plan. This isn't practical training. This is theory. This is something we can apply right now. No jargon, no fluff. Section 1, the AI search revolution. As you know, it's changing, right? So AI doesn't rank, it recommends. So traditional search, right? Google.com, one of the largest platforms for searching for information, they're losing traffic to Google because people like myself don't Google anymore. Where I used to live on Google, now I'm going to my chosen large language model such as ChatGPT, right? And I'm asking everything there. The reason why is because it's less steps, right? I'm not sifting through the Google search results, clicking on the links, and then seeing if that's the information. I'm automatically having the information fed to me through, say, ChatGPT, given my results and my recommendations, and then I'm done. I'll give you a couple examples. I don't know if anyone else out there can agree with me, but the last 2 businesses that I hired, I strictly found through ChatGPT. Because let's just be honest, right? I'm a little lazy and I don't want to do all the work. And I just want to have ChatGPT give me those results. So I learned that you're supposed to clean out your your dryer vents that are connected through the house, I guess every like year or so. No one ever told me that. So I've been living in my house now for I think almost 9 years. So someone told me I should do that. Of course, otherwise maybe that will start a fire. So I found someone through ChatGPT that way. And then I found another person because I installed an air filtration system in my house. And I also relied on ChatGPT, and I just wanted it as easy as possible. I said, hey, give me 5 top ranked people that are in the area. Give me their phones, give me their emails. And me, right, being the lazy consumer that doesn't want to put forth a lot of effort, I just clicked on each email, sent a quick blind, canned email to each of them, and then quickly had conversations and figured out who I wanted to use. So I'm a prime example of, hey, I'm not using Google anymore. I'm using what AI search recommends. And a lot of other people are doing that as well. And it's only going to continue to grow, which is, of course, why we're probably all in this class right now, right? But when you get your results from chat, right, it's going to it doesn't rank necessarily results. It's going to give you specific recommendations. And depending what you ask and what the question is regarding around real estate and who's the best real estate agent, right, it might give one result or a few, or it might push you to say, hey, here's one, but here's one more. So if you're not in those results, right, you're missing out on that currently, right, free opportunity of getting leads. So personal recommendation engine, why this matters. AI no longer just presents those websites. It's authoritative sources. So keyword here is AI is going to be looking for and identifying credible, authoritative sources that I'm going to share with you here in a few slides that you are going to 100% going to want to be on, right? Ideally, they're trying to mimic the personal referrals, right? Similar to being recommended if a friend recommended a realtor, but we all know it's all going to come down to who is on these sources, who is leveraging the right keywords and playing the game right to pop up on specific search topics and search words. All right. Now, when we look at search versus ask, right, a fundamental shift is also how people search for things. So maybe on google.com, I'm looking for real estate agent. I type in on the query, best realtor in Denver, right? And then I get my list with my website links and I have to evaluate it all. What we're finding is with AI searches, people become more and more comfortable with it. They're getting more detailed with their questions, right? Versus, hey, ChatGPT, who should I hire to sell my house? Who's in Denver? Who also, is really good in this neighborhood or this area. So we're starting to see that people are having more what we call long tail keyword searches, which is good for you to know because we're going to talk here a little bit about how you can start to create and put out content such as blog posts that focus on those long tail keyword searches that people are typing into so that you can try to grab those bottom of funnel leads and have your information pop up on them. Okay, people are talking to AI, they're not Googling. We get that. That's pretty straightforward, less friction. I don't need to focus on this. Home shoppers using AI, it's continuing to go up. Nearly 40% of home shoppers now use AI during their real estate process. This was sorted through RISmedia. They ask AI for validation, advice, and recommendations at every stage from initial research to final agent selection. The other study that's going on is people, this is important. I think this is important for all real estate professionals, is people are being surveyed on if they know more than how they felt, how well their real estate agent helped them through the real estate process, and if they felt like their real estate agent was really knowledgeable. And it's getting mixed reviews. And the reason why is because guess what they're doing? They're on their phones, they're on their computer, and they're asking ChatGPT all these questions along the way. And the problem with that is that, as you all know, right, it's AI, it's not perfect, and it gets things wrong. So just be mindful of this as you go forward and continue your business, right? More and more people are looking it up on AI and comparing notes and results. And it's important, I think, to tell your clients, those home buyers and home sellers, right, that AI may not always be the most accurate information because, as we all know, right, garbage in is going to lead to garbage out, and it's not going to give you the best information. But as you can see here from this slide, right, just over 60% of people are trusting these recommendations blindly, right, because they think it's all accurate. Now, it is also leading to faster decision making because we're getting those results there as well. Moving on. Validation, right? Is Diane a good choice for luxury homes, right? Agent vetting, who are the best realtors in Cherry Creek? Initial search, right? It's leading down this pathway where we're talking and we're getting that final decision. So how we're searching and communicating is changing, right? I mean, it's going as far as I was reading an article on how people are leveraging AI as their therapist, which is not recommended whatsoever, but they're really, really trusting these things and starting to ask deeper and deeper questions versus maybe a top of funnel Google search. Section 2, how AI decides who to recommend. So let's actually get into some real stuff, right? So if what AI is doing behind the scenes when you ask that question, it receives your question, your query, right? It's going to run that web search. It's got AI crawling the web. It's going to gather information. It's going to analyze the credibility. It's going to evaluate a few different things, right? Consistency, reviews, credentials, and mentions across multiple sources. And then it's going to make those recommendations on who it believes is best based off of that confident recommendation. AI doesn't actually know, it infers, right? So again, key insight here is it's looking at those best agents, but it doesn't actually know, right? None of us do unless we actually look up production and numbers based off of our question. It's just leveraging the information out there. This is important though, because you need to do a deep dive on yourself and ask yourself what trusted sites are saying about you. And then also how much of a web presence you have, how consistent is your information about yourself, even breaking down just your bio, right? Is your information about yourself across multiple platforms, and does it line up as in all the same information? Because that all plays a role as well, which we'll talk about here in a couple slides. So, key term inference. AI draws conclusions from live web data rather than having pre-programmed answers. So what's cool about this, and I think should give you all hope, is the current results out there are not set in stone, right? And AI is always crawling the web and updated. So there's a bunch of opportunity in my belief for you to put forth the effort and start to get found by AI, because those trusted sources have to continue to be updated, and it's going to compare consistency and evaluate the credibility and then make its recommendations. A couple things. This is changing. It's always changing, but some things you should know AI can read, right? It can read public text on web page, agent bios, descriptions, blog posts, articles, listing descriptions, structured data. AI loves structured data, so that's important, right? Such as lists, tables, rankings. Reviews displayed as text on pages, awards and credentials. AI loves awards and credentials. So if you are not a braggadocious person, it's time for you to become a little bit of a braggadocious person, because AI loves when you talk about the whatever top producer award or whatever that is, all the accolades that you've earned in your career. It's taking that into consideration as well when it's looking at available information. All right. Now, AI cannot read. This, as of recently, has changed within the past month. For the longest time, AI cannot read reviews hidden behind JavaScript code, such as Google reviews. But as of just recently, now AI can read your Google reviews. So that's something to play as well. Is if you have a Google business profile or write review sites, it would be a good idea to continue, as always, to get more reviews and further strengthen your online presence as the go-to real estate agent. AI cannot read images without that alt text. Alt text is just kind of a nerdy term for, what it is it's text behind an image that you could read if maybe you were visually impaired. Video content without transcripts, it can't read. Password protected content, it cannot read dynamic content that loads after page render. So we're getting into the weeds here. But this is some information that you should be aware of. All right. And then social media posts, right? We're limited on a lot of AI platforms. You're probably familiar with this. If you try to use, say, ChatGPT to search through Instagram or Facebook and look things up, it's going to restrict you, because a lot of web pages also are restricting the ability for these AI bots to go out and crawl along their websites. All right, let's talk about the anatomy of an AI friendly profile. Okay. So, just again, getting into the mindset of like, how do we optimize and rethink our online presence? Let's talk about clear name and title, right? So, Jane Smith, Denver realtor specializing in luxury homes with quantifiable experience, 15 plus years of experience. 300 plus homes sold, 200 million plus in sales volume, specific specializations, Cherry Creek Luxury Estates, first time buyer advocate, relocation specialist, right? And then we go into credentials. Top 1% Denver agent, whatever, Zillow Premier agent, this many 5-star ratings. And then location keywords, serving Denver, Cherry Creek, Capitol Hill, and the surrounding areas, right? So we're getting really into all of these aspects of what AI is looking for, which is going to benefit you when someone's searching on the ideal niche that you are focused on, right? If Let's talk about structure. Structure makes all the difference with AI, right? So you want structured data, otherwise AI may skip over it. If your information is inconsistent, AI might doubt it, right? If it's invisible, right, hidden code, AI will never see it. So this is why some agents just might have great reputations, but they're not going to get recommended through AI, right? We're understanding the rules of the game here today so that you can play it properly. Section 3, where ChatGPT looks. These are some of the top websites that are continually sourced by ChatGPT when it is pulling information on top real estate agents. Okay. So, real fast, we'll roll through them. One is Fast Expert, two is Yelp, three is one is Fast Expert, two is Real Trends. Yeah, take a photo of this. Three is Yelp, four is HomeLight, five is Zillow, six is Redfin, seven is Realtor.com, eight is Homes.com, nine is just based off of general expertise, 10 is local sites, 11 is brand sites, and 12 is your sites. All right, so currently, and again, this is probably going to evolve and change, but there's been plenty of studies and research on what is getting sourced, which we're going to share here in a little bit, and we're actually run some searches ourselves. These are continually websites that are popping up and pulling sourced data when it comes to asking for real estate agents. Okay. We understand why these platforms matter. Authority, structure, AI visibility. We get it, right? They're reputable sites. They have structured data, right? They're trusted by millions of users, so that's why AI is leaning into them, and they're consistent across platforms. Breaking down the AI citation, right? Source attribution according to Yelp or Zillow shows, right? Specific names, right? The Schlichter team, Jeff Plouse, 8Z Real Estate. These were some of the teams local here in Denver Metro that have popped up when I've run searches. Credibility markers. Again, we're going back to the numbers. 5-star ratings, 1,000 plus sales, whatever, fill in that blank. Verification language, verified clients, numerous positive reviews. So live demonstration, let's ask ChatGPT, right? Who are the best real estate agents in Denver, Colorado? Let's find out. What's fascinating about this is I've run this a few times, and you could even run this on your own if you wanted to follow along. But I would not be surprised if we got different answers on our search. So I'll type this in here. I'll use ChatGPT. You use whatever large language model you want. But if I type in who are the best real estate agents in Denver, Colorado, as of right now, according to my ChatGPT, this is the results I'm getting. Getting David Ness. I'm getting Brendan Bartik, Ed Prather, the Schlichter team. I keep seeing them pop up in my chat, right? And then down here below, you're going to see the sources. Look at there's the sources that we were talking about. Fast Expert. Fast Expert is dominating these sources right in here. You can see them, right? And let's just see why. If I click on Fast Expert, what's pulling? Fast Expert, top real estate agents in Denver, right? This is a list format, structured data. AI loves structured data. All right. What I like about David with the Schlichter team, he's done a really good job with his online presence. I know he does a lot on YouTube also, is that he's getting his sources in here through his own website, right? Which should give you all hope that, right, David is leveraging the build out of his website and the way he has it optimized and built to automatically pop up in these organic ChatGPT rankings within the top 5, right? Here's your little disclaimer, right? What best mean and what to consider, right? Chat's putting this in there, of course, so that they don't get in trouble. But look at this, right? And this is going to be structured based off of how I talk to Chat because I've asked it, right? If you like, I can build a list of 15 to 20, right? And it can continue to go on, right? You might run this search. It might give you one result and then say, hey, I could give you 3 more. But this is, again, a quick test scenario on what we're getting off of this search. Let's go back over into the presentation. Okay. So present, pop in here. Look at this. Okay. Next screen. And look at that. There's David. When I ran this last time, David popped up first. And again, it's sourced and cited, as you can see here in the bottom right corner. All those sources were through his website. All right. Next up, let's focus some more on some other searches and let's focus on section 4, which is going to be optimizing your presence. So there's two ways to be found, then versus now, right? Traditional method is personal recs, past clients, networking, word of mouth, versus now it's going to be AI methods, data-driven validation, instant credibility. Okay, moving on here. Let's talk about just AI search and shift in general. It's gonna be fascinating to me where we are, and honestly, even just 5 years from now, with how fast the world is moving. Because I see just a more and more of a future where the easy way is going to be the way that people do things. And I understand to its core, I think it's hard for humans to change their behavior when they're stuck in something. But as new generations come up, right, whether that's Gen Z, millennials, etc., right, they're going to continue to apply what they do. Whereas the older generation is going to phase out. I believe it's only going to become more and more AI focused because let's be honest, probably everyone in this room is using some sort of AI about their business or personal life. It's just easier to do it. So, this is next step, auditing your profiles. I want you to go through your profiles and you want to look to its core, you want to look at what's called your NAP, which at the very core is going to be your name, your address, your phone number. And I would challenge you if there's one thing you were to do today is to just at least get consistency in all of your information across your profiles, or at least some of your profiles to be the same. And I mean consistent. For example, your address. If you, whatever, you're at, what is it, 9800 Pyramid over in DTC, and that's your business address. I want you, how you spell out, I forget, say it's court, right? Do you spell out COURT? Is it CT? Is it CT period? Where do you put in that comma? Be mindful even of how you have the address written out across all of your platforms. Say, for example, your Google business profile versus your Facebook. Pro tip, be careful with changing your profiles, most specifically with your Google business profile. So I would challenge you, if there was somewhere to start and you wanted to have consistency across your profiles, I would go to your Google business profile and see how things are spelt out there and how you're branded. Don't change that one. Then go to your other profiles and have them match your Google business profile. Because if you mess with your Google business profile, it's very easy to send off essentially a red flag to Google and then they suspend your account. It's a whole pain getting it back. All right. Verifying your contact info, right? Make sure it's accurate, obviously, right? Add location keywords. You can do this even within your Google business profile. Start to niche into the neighborhoods or areas that you want to focus on. Because why not take advantage of all of the character usage that you're allowed when you're creating these profiles. All right. Again, just updating. Even also working it down to your Instagram profile, your LinkedIn profile. Here we go. Here's another good, screenshot you could take. Profiles to update, create. This will be a fun, I don't know, for me, pour myself a glass of wine and do this for 2 hours task, right? Go through, as you can see, your core real estate listing sites, your general business and review platforms, your agent specific networks and blogs, right? Some of these on here you may have never heard of, right? If you're like me and you really want to go all in and go the extra mile, right? It's probably going to take you some time to build these profiles out and fill them in, right? So, professional social media, as you can see, LinkedIn to, YouTube, Pinterest, X, Reddit, the list goes on. And then lastly, last but not least, your personal and company web presence. All right, which is of course going to be your website. So that's going to be step one. Key takeaway for today is just updating your profiles, having consistency across them so that everything is all in sync, so that if web crawlers, AI are searching the web, they're matching Diane Shell up to the other Diane Shell who has the LinkedIn versus the YouTube, and everything looks the same and it looks even more legitimate. Okay, update your bio. Generic bio versus AI optimized bio, right? Generic bio. I'm a passionate real estate professional dedicated to helping my clients achieve their dreams. I love what I do and I always go the extra mile. versus Denver realtor with 12 plus years of experience and 250 plus homes sold, specializing in, right, blah, 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 top 5%, right? So you can see here two very different bios that we can lean into, right? Include specific numbers such as years of experience, homes sold, sales volume, review count. Mention your specialties. Use factual phrases. And then, of course, add your credentials. All right. Updating your bios for AI search. As you're going to add all this, right? I'm going to actually give you here a prompt that you can utilize to update your bio. That's going to help save you some time. I just want you to understand the difference with a generic bio versus a very AI optimized bio that will be helpful for you because your bio should read like data. Here is that prompt. So if you scan this, right, or if you are on a phone reading this right now, you can hold down the QR code and it will open up the link. But essentially what this this is a prompt that you can copy and paste into chat. And I'll just do it here on the computer too, just so you all can see this. In addition to this class, I teach a variety of different AI classes and workshops. And over the past several years, I've been building out this Google Drive of prompts. For those of you that don't know what a prompt is, to its core, a prompt is just simply instructions that you copy and paste and give your AI, such as ChatGPT, to help you more quickly get to your end result. So that on that web page right there that you just saw is going to be a prompt that you will scan. And within there, it's going to take you to, let me find it real quick here, a Google document that you can leverage to your advantage that is going to help you optimize your bio to copy and paste into different platforms. So a lot of these prompts, they're going to have instructions. They're going to explain what it does, right? This one's going to help with AI search engine optimization and GEO. You're going to read the instructions, but basically what you do is you are going to copy and paste this prompt down here, and we'll do it together, and have it create a better bio for yourself. So I'll copy it. I'll go into ChatGPT, and I will paste it in here. And then it's probably going to ask me a question. You can see here at the end of this prompt, it's going to give me 3 versions, a short version, a medium version, and a long version. And that just comes down to where you're going to be copying and pasting your final optimized bio, right? Instagram versus LinkedIn versus Google, right? They have different rules on how much text you can have, right? So you can see here, I just clicked enter on this and put it in here. It's going to ask you, you're going to go through this exercise, fill in your name, your real estate office, your branding, provide any licensing or market experience, any production volume numbers you can give. Little pro tip here, I'd be careful with saying how many years you're in real estate. I know that was in my example, right? 15 years, but you notice how I said 15 plus years? You can go that route. Another thing to think about is giving the year that you've started in real estate, right? I've been in real estate since 2017. So be mindful of playing with both those options. But I would say always the plus there, because guess what? In a year from now, if you say 15 years, now it's 16 years. All right. So just something that I've always been mindful of when I'm optimizing my information about myself. Continuing down here, right, you get it, affiliations, awards, reviews, etc. So you fill all this in, it's then going to create your bio for you. So again, don't make this hard on yourself. Use AI to help you improve getting found by AI. Leverage this prompt to your advantage so that it can help you. All right, back on track. Next up, that is optimizing your bio. That will be a fun little exercise. All right. We hammered pretty hard on structured data, but again, you get it, right? Structured data versus unstructured data, what this looks like, and why that bio is going to give you a better result. Okay, we ran the prompt. Let's do this one real fast. Who is the top real estate agent who sells the most homes in Cherry Creek, Denver, Colorado? So the first prompt that we ran was just who's the best realtor. What we're finding, what I shared earlier, is that people are starting to have more conversations. Maybe that's the first question. But again, if we think about a funnel and who's at the bottom, right? What are those questions that people are starting to ask that are at the bottom of the funnel that we're looking for? I'm just going to do this just for fun. I'm going to paste in a little bit of a change of these keywords on who's the top real estate agent who sells the most homes, specifically in Cherry Creek, Denver, Colorado, based on the assumption that I'm a home seller. I'm in Cherry Creek, and this is what I type in. And now it's going to give me completely different results. Look at this, right? And look where we're sorting. So sourcing. So now we're sourcing here from Redfin. I'm guessing this is a structured piece of data. Yep. So here's our structured data. And Martin popped up first. Over here, we've got Leo, who actually is getting pulled from Remax of Cherry Creek. Interesting. So his bio got pulled in here based off of that result because it's optimized, I'm guessing, for Cherry Creek. And a little bit of Zillow down here, I'm guessing, which is probably also a structured list. It is, but he is not at the top of that. I find that fascinating. Interesting. Right. So again, I challenge you to ask ChatGPT or whatever platform you use what it's saying. If there's a neighborhood that you're focused on or farming it, it'd be good intel for you to know who you're up against and who's currently being sourced. And maybe after you apply all these principles, I'd be curious if you came back to this months down the road and seeing if it's making changes or alterations. Back over here. Here we go. So, real quick, Google, right? They're not going anyway. They're huge. Although ChatGPT is one of the largest large language models. Gemini is owned by Google. It's another large language model that is also being actively used. And also, Google is restructuring how they provide their results when you run your searches on Google because they know if people aren't going to use Google, that's going to be a huge problem for them and so many reasons why. But one thing you've probably all seen this before is that Google has what's called the AI overview, where on certain searches through Google, right, they're going to give you their AI overview. So if I take that same search query and I ask who is the top real estate agent who sells the most homes in Cherry Creek, Denver, right, here's their AI overview. And look at that. There's their disclaimer. There isn't one single top agent as rankings vary, right? But here we get completely different results, right? Ann Dresser pops up. There's the Schlichter team again, right? There's Kristen, there's McKinsey. And you can see here it's sourcing its dark data, which again was one of those top 12 sources that we mentioned earlier, right? Here's US News Real Estate. Here's ratemyagent.com. And here's one of our favorite ones, good old Yelp.com, right? And I kind of make a joke on that because I think Yelp.com has left a bad taste in a lot of realtors' mouths on how they conducted business early on with a little bit of bait and switch tactics. But for what it's worth, Yelp.com is incredibly underutilized, in my opinion, by real estate agents. So I would definitely do my best to create that Yelp account and create that content behind Yelp and optimizing your bio. All right. You can see here it gives us a list, and again, it's sourcing this information. Let's just take a look at more sources. Moving on here, the recording stopped, Diane, but that's okay. I'm recording it on my computer. Continuing down here, another source that was on the list, HomeLight. There's Zillow, and then there's the outlier, Remax of Cherry Creek, which I like though because that's fascinating. That this Remax of Cherry Creek source made the cut based off of the information provided in here, based off of what Ken wrote. He's an old recording dog, in progress out there barking. That's great. Thanks, Ken. All right, moving on. And then boom, there's your actual sources down below. So everything's changing. All right, back on track. Let's keep going because I want to share with you a few more things as we start to run into the last 15 minutes of this presentation. Okay, next up is section 5, AI-friendly content. Okay, so let's talk about blogging. And more specifically, let's talk about blogging for bottom of funnel search queries. So what is a bottom of funnel query? These are essentially the questions that people are asking when they're ready to take action, right? They're not searching for how does real estate work. They're asking, right, who should I hire in this area or for this deal or whatever that specialization is, right? And then of course they're also asking those questions on a variety of different topics that you can start to take over with blogs. right? On when should I sell? Should I sell this fall? Right? How do I choose that realtor in Cherry Creek? What do I look for in a luxury home agent? Right? Questions to ask before listing your Denver home. Denver market update. Is it a good time to sell? We're focused on further down the funnel. People were in their mind, they're starting to think, all right, cool. What do I need to know? And then who should I reach out to? So, blogging. I know usually when I teach this class, the majority of us aren't doing it. Or if we are, maybe we're outsourcing it, which is a fantastic idea. But this is where I believe more than anything, you can start to pull in and start to really lean into starting to pop up within those AI search results. Because if we start to blog about the bottom of funnel, most search for keywords, right? In theory, in a perfect world, if we're doing this properly, we're going to have a better opportunity to have AI source our website, source our blog post. Okay. So we want you to become the expert and start to capture that high intent traffic and be cited as an authority. All right. Now, not to get too kind of in the weeds here and a little nerdy, but I want to talk quickly about the EEAT framework, which is where Google and AI use the EEAT framework to evaluate credibility. So again, when they're looking at blog posts and information, right, they're going to look at experience, they're going to look at expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, and they're also going to look at your website overall, right? How active is it? How often are you blogging, right? And how authoritative are you? Um, are there cross links between you and other websites? So, other things to think about, but without a doubt, step one is to have a website, and step two is to begin to blog post on long tail keyword searches that people are looking for. And we're going to talk about exactly how to do that. All right. But again, finalizing EEAT, right? It's breaking down your experience, your expertise, your authoritativeness, and your trustworthiness. So, every blog post, every profile bio, and every piece of content should reinforce at least one thing, ideally multiple elements of these topics. So when you go through your blog posts, this is important to be mindful of. Now, fortunately for you, I'm going to give you exactly the prompts and all the information for you to plug and play this. But before I do, I just want you to understand what went into these prompts and why they've been created the way that they have, so that you have better results when you are starting to create your own content as well. Right? So here we go. Here's an example: blog impact on AI recommendations. Blog post title is best time to sell your home in Denver. Best time to sell your Denver home in 2025. Right? You publish this, you write the detailed data-driven blog post with your local market insights. Step two, what happens is the search engines start to index it, right? So Google and other search engines are going to index your content, right? Step three, in a perfect world, consumer asks AI that question. And step four, ideally, in a perfect world, AI cites you. Now, this is a very, I'd say, generic post that probably has a lot of searches on there. I'm going to give you some examples of some more long tail keyword searches as well. But ideally, you guys get this. You want to be the expert. Here's let's go ahead and scan this all for a second so we can look at this. This is the next prompt that I want to show you. So again, if you scan this prompt here, or if you hold down the QR code on your phone, it's going to pull up a prompt. It's going to give you instructions. But this is going to be your plug and play, essentially custom prompt that you can use to help you with blog posting, right? And what it's going to do is it's going to give you essentially a ready-made output on blog. So let me share this with you on the computer so you can see what we're doing here. I'm going to go over into this one right here that you should have just scanned, which is called Custom GPT that writes your blogs. So again, gives you instructions, pretty straightforward. But if I wanted to, for the sake of time, highlight all of this, which is very, very long, it's a very detailed prompt, and say I want to go into ChatGPT and copy and paste it within here, it's probably going to ask me some questions. Let's see what it does. Okay. But this is very good. You can even see here it's built out for guardrails, which is always important with prompts in terms of compliance, right? We want to be mindful of all of the rules that we should not be breaking when we are writing our blog posts, right? RESPA sensitive, mention of what we can and can't do with fair housing and all that stuff. So First things first, let's see. What's it going to say? Got it. I'm ready for you. Blog type selection. Which blog type do you want to create? Well, you can choose from these 5 fixed options: local area topic, market insight. Let's just go with the first one, local area topic. Okay. Step 2, content input. Do you want me to research this local topic for you, or are you providing notes, a file, or a link for me to use as the foundation? Right? It's up for you to add that. Let's just say I don't want to do anything, so I'll say research and move forward. But in theory, I could upload information if I wanted to, as you can see here. What local area should I research? Let's just roll with the theme today of Cherry Creek, Denver, Colorado. Right? You can see it could be a city or it could be a specific neighborhood, depending on how niche you want to be. We can do some research, right? Why Cherry Creek is one of Denver's most irresistible neighborhoods. Where is Cherry Creek and what is it like? And all of this information on Cherry Creek for this specific blog topic, right? So you can see here, it's starting to build it out for me. It's pulling in information. And then if I wanted to continue forward, right, and I can always tweak this. I could, again, guys, this isn't set in stone, but this is going to help you get from point A to point Z faster with getting blog content posted. All right. But now it's going to ask you, what do you want to do next? I can draft a full blog post version ready to publish, or I could build a lead focus spotlight page for your website. Let's go ahead and just do full blog, right? Do full blog. Boom. All right. I'll click that and continue forward. Step 3, keyword targeting and brand integration. Do you want this blog to rank for any specific keywords or phrases? Right? So now we're getting into the details of what keywords we want to start to target and take over. Should I include your name, profession? Yes or no? I would say the answer is yes. Right? What do you want your call to action to be? So we're just rolling through these. So I'll just say, let's go Cherry Creek, Denver. Yes on name. And CTA can be to visit my website. Sure. Length is, let's go all in. Sure, let's go 2,000 words. Let's go 2,500 words. My blog posts, I always push for 2,500 words. By the way, if you're just kind of making this up on your own, ChatGPT is probably going to do the least amount of effort possible. So be detailed when you are having it make your blog posts. Personally, I want longer than 1,000 words. And then if you do know where you're publishing this, right, that would be a good idea. I personally publish on Wix, so I'll type in Wix, and now it's going to build this out at 2,500 words for Wix.com where I blog, and it's going to start to give me this information. While it's doing this, I just want to show you something. This is Wix.com. This is just right where I host my website. You would go to wherever you host your website, wherever that is, right? You're going to go and log in. You can see here, this is the, the backside to my website, milehighTitleGuy.com, right? You're going to go into your blogging section. And then down here, right, there's going to be a button to create your blog post, right? So I'll click here, pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to copy and paste this information into, it's still going, 2,500 words, right, into my blog. Best practices, right? Again, this is AI. Read this. Make sure it's accurate. Make sure it's in your tone and voice and all that. But once it's done here, right, you can see here, here's my call to action, final takeaways. This will then be copied and pasted into your blog post, right? And then you'll post it or schedule it. If you really, really want to lean in this, which, right, you're in this class right now, I would challenge you to start to begin blogging. A lot of questions I get asked when I teach this class is, how often should you blog post? I would say the answer is however often you are comfortable with keeping up with blog posting per week, right? If you can do 1 blog post per week, cool, that's a good start. But I would then start to schedule these out once per week, right? If you're, more aggressive and you want to do 4 per week, cool, go do that, right? If you're super aggressive like me, you can see here, I've already published 661 blogs and I've got 357 scheduled all the way into 2026, almost 1 per day. Go all in. The faster you want your results, the more you can lean into this, right? All it's going to cost you, of course, is your time, right, in terms of doing this and building it. All right. But personally, for me, from starting this almost 1 year ago And 1 year ago, my goal was just 3 to 4 blog posts a month. I'd say within the last 2 to 3 months, I am receiving one inbound lead per week that is in regards to title, escrow, all the things I do, classes, events, marketing. So it's cool to start to see where the stuff is coming from because I always ask people, hey, where'd you find me? So for what it's worth, it's starting to work for me. But full disclosure, it's taken me, about a year to really start to see these results come forward over and over again. And that's based off of me blogging 3 to 4 times a week and continuing to blog over and over again. All right. Now, that is the
Hey,
blog
Jared.
prompt. Question, yes.
Yeah, question. Do you put your blog anywhere else other than your website? Or is that it?
Just my website. Yep.
Okay.
Just my website. Yep. Because now that I think about it, my Google business does not pull from my website. Nope, it pulls from, I think, my Facebook page. Yeah. So yeah, I put on my website. That's to the core. Now, in a perfect world, yeah, bonus points leading off of Diane. Thank you, Diane. Right, this is content, right? And if you believe in this content, you want to back this content. Now, this is content that you can now cross post in other locations, right? So first thing that pops to my mind is LinkedIn, right? Can you then take forth the effort to cross post this over into LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever platforms you want? Because at the end of the day, I am a big believer in what Diane is kind of alluding to here is the more you can have your content out there and the more you can create, right, all this content surrounding around you and your expertise and your specialty, right, the more you're going to have the internet, right, and the AI essentially crawling across the web and sourcing your information. Okay. Back on track. Few minutes left. I want to show you one more thing that I believe might be helpful. All right. So we did a live demonstration. We went through this demo. I showed you some blogging stuff and putting your action plan into place here, guys. It's pretty straightforward. I'd say one key takeaway for today: update your bios, at least just get a few done. I mean, even if it's just like maybe just the main bios that you use, right? I mean, I actually use that AI bio optimizer for my Instagram and I had it redo my Instagram bio. I had it redo my LinkedIn bio. And you'll see the LinkedIn bio is different than the Instagram bio because of the number of characters, but also based off of what I had written within here. But you can see here, right? I used, again, verbiage, top 5% nationwide, real quick blurbs within that bio. And then, of course, breaking down your more detailed about section down here. So that was just two quick examples of how I've applied it in just those two locations for social media. But again, you choose your path of how specific and how detailed you want to be and how much effort you want to put forth, right? Next up, with a few minutes left here, let's just finish this out, right? Mistakes to avoid, we cover this. Inconsistent bios, ignoring structured data, missing location keywords, and relying on, other aspects of your business that eventually might start to slow down. Um, why you should do this, I think we've hammered that pretty hard. The last thing I want to show you all is this website right here called answerthepublic.com. All right. You can sign up. I think it's pretty free. Uh, Pro tip, if you sign up and then you cancel after like a week, they'll give you a great offer to have lifetime access to this account, which is what I have. And what answerthepublic.com is it's a great way for you to do some research on the most commonly searched for long tail keywords that are being utilized on various platforms, right? So you can go based off of search engines, what's being searched, or social media, or even specific AI models. And we could start to type in here. Let's just type in real estate, and let's just search and see what's starting to pull here. Roll with me on this. They recently updated their website. So if I run through here, though, I can see a summary of what's being searched when this loads. And what's going to happen is it's going to start to give me these results, right? And it's going to break it down in a variety of ways that I can read this information. But one thing that's really cool is right here, if I want to start to really pull in the search results, and I can start to see these AI prompts for real estate, right? I want to download this information. And right here, I can export this data. Check this out. AI models for real estate. And I can open this up. So let's open this up. And this is going to be, right, a spreadsheet of all these search results. And I can start to see some of the results that are coming out of here based off these prompts. If I wanted to go into search engines, we could compare that and I can download this information. And this one should be a pretty lengthy result because I've done it. And what's nice though about this, where I'm going here with this and why I'm sharing this with you, is that another way to look at creating your content and your blog content is leveraging a site like answerthepublic.com and starting to look at the most commonly searched for keywords and then leveraging AI to build out blog posts on each and every one of these keywords. Okay. And this is exactly what I did for the title insurance space of keywords. And I built out over 400 blog posts based off of the most commonly searched for keywords. And you can see here, right? Here's real estate, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to download this data and you can upload it into your large language model, such as ChatGPT, and you can have it start to curate and build out blog posts for you based off of each top ranked keyword. So, a couple of strategies I'm giving you here, right? Because I don't want to get this too convoluted, is in summary, we gave you the bio optimization prompt, which you can get started on. Step two, we also gave you the plug and play blog creator prompt, which is a great step to start. For those of you that really, really want to go the extra mile and really like you're all in on this, I would encourage you to download, or if you'd like, I just downloaded it. Ask me to send it to you. I'll send you this list of the top ranked keywords, and I'll give you a more advanced prompt that is going to leverage this list of the top keywords and a prompt that is going to automatically create blog posts about you, your market, and each keyword within this prompt. Within this spreadsheet of search information. So I'm kind of giving you like you choose your own path of how much effort you want to put forth. I'd say step one, if you're gonna, leave this class today and just start off with bio, start there. But in summary, this is how you're going to do it. Again, it's no free lunch. It's not, right? It's not, I'm just going to be honest, it's not easy to do. I would say best move is to start slow, continue to build. And if you're like me, what I've done is truthfully, right? I never built out all these blog posts. I hired someone else to do this. It started out as I hired a college student who just was looking to make some extra money, and I paid them $1.50 per blog post to create these for me. I then found my virtual assistant who took her a month to schedule out 400 blog posts, right? So I know a lot of us are probably looking at this work and thinking that doesn't sound fun or it's something that I want to do. Or maybe you know yourself and you know you're not going to do the work on this. And I would challenge you to outsource it and hire someone else because there's a lot of people out there who will do it at a very, very cheap cost.